Awesome. So hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming and for attending our latest Kumi Now online gathering. I will make sure to put a link to our website and channel if you want to see any previous videos or take part in our actions. So today we have the privilege of being joined by Jamal Juma, who let me introduce him first, and he can talk about his presentation. So Jamal Juma was born in Jerusalem and attended Birzeit University, where he became politically active, and since 2002, he was the coordinator of the Palestinian grassroots anti-apartheid wall campaign, and since 2012, the coordinator of the Land Defense Coalition, which is a network of Palestinian grassroots movements. And so he has been very active in grassroots and civil society spaces, has done a lot of writing and speaking about these issues. So we're excited to have him today to speak with us about ongoing annexation, ongoing dispossession, um, and international law and the future of the Palestinian people. So Jamal, thank you so much for taking the time today to speak with us. I don't know if you can hear us,
Yes,
but
it's my
okay,
pleasure.
Hear
It's
you.
my
great.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. We look forward to hearing you. So maybe you can speak for about 30 minutes and then we can have some questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
Awesome.
When we are going to start?
Oh, you can begin now.
Now?
Hmm?
I thought we are waiting for
No,
more
we can
people.
wait, but if you want to introduce yourself more before you start, that would be great.
No,
Mhm.
I think that's what you said is enough. Like, and I am, I'm
Okay.
born in Palestine and remain my life all in Palestine. Yeah, and I have been in this situation since I opened my eyes to the world. So it is an ongoing looking for me, like, and generations after generation, endless. I think this is the ongoing catastrophe that didn't stop, and it's keep complicated every time. So we don't know when. We hope that this is what's happening now, in spite how much it is really bad, that could be starting an end for that. We have a saying in Arabic saying that the last or the darkest time of the night is a little bit before the for the morning.
Mhm.
So we hope that this is the case. So of course this will not be clearly will not be with the Palestinian efforts alone. It should be international as well. And the examples in the world is so clear. For us as a Palestinians, the main example that have been in front of our eyes is the South African issue, which we thought and we think that without the strong international interference, it could be South Africa until now under the apartheid regime. So I think we need more than any time before in life the interference of the international community. And here became, after this war, it became so clear when we talk about international community for us. International community and our allies are the people that we saw them in masses in the streets, that we saw them particularly, which is one of the light in things in what's happening is what happened in the United States. We never expected this change of the public opinion, this masses, the university, everybody going to the streets, standing and keep standing in front of the oppression, in front of what all the states is doing against all people of supporting Palestine, which is in fact it has been totally peeled the whole what's so-called democracy and expression of the people, the freedom of expression. So this is putting question mark on all this issue. But still, this is a struggle, and I think it's a struggle of our people as a human beings, like to victory for our morals. And I think I believe, in spite of all the darkness around us, I believe that we are going to win. This is going to change. To change is not natural that situation will continue like this. If I would start yani, with what's going on, yani, talking about the West Bank, I think it's not really, we can't really just like talking without mentioning what's happening in Gaza and what's the relation, how it's related. Because looking deeply on what's happening in Gaza and the war that continue now for almost 1 year and 8 months continuously, and the mass destruction of the Gaza, eliminating everything, it was there was a plan behind this. For me, I think this is the key. It is for the Israeli regime, the genocidal war in Gaza is a key issue to liquidate Palestine cause. And unfortunately, it's not just Israeli war on Palestinians, but as you know, it's like the American administration and the other imperialist regimes in Europe, or its allies at least. Why I'm saying it's like the key. For me, there is three main reasons that I saw that it is related very well to the whole issue, including in Gaza and the West Bank. One of the first important things that became like a nightmare to the Israeli regime since 77 years up to now is the refugee problem. Refugees problem, and it is the historical witness that's still ongoing on the crime against humanity and the mass expulsion of the people in Palestine. So they were working all the way how to get rid of this, denying it all the time. So I think for them, this is now the time is doing this. Looking at what's happened into the refugees in Gaza, there are 1,476,000 refugees in Gaza Strip. This is considered 64% of the whole refugees in the West Bank and Gaza. It's 80% of the Gaza Strip. Logically, for them, it is like the vast majority of the refugee camps has been wiped out, and they finished this issue. What remain, in fact, is 36% of the refugees in 19 camps in the West Bank. That were now under ongoing war and attack on these camps. That's coming along with this, the targeting the UNRWA. UNRWA, because UNRWA has been established from the United Nations, particularly for the Palestinian refugees. So in UNRWA, like as an international organization, is a symbol, is like that representing the existence of the refugee problem. So that's why they targeted so many times, and from the beginning, and here I'm recalling one of the sentences, the strategic sentences that was guiding them and believed in it strongly. They say that UNRWA is the reason of the continuation of the perpetuation of the Palestinian refugee problem. In addition to it, support of the right of return, which aims to eliminate Israel. So that's why they work to demonize UNRWA all the time. And if you remember also in 2017, when Trump came first time to the power, one of the main things is that the first thing that they attacked, before even recognizing Jerusalem as a capital for Israel, is the UNRWA. Cut off all the UNRWA assistance, the money that the United States is paying for that, and they were talking about the whole refugee problem is something false. It's not as it is represented. And now, now Gaza, as you see, Gaza, the target of the UNRWA in Gaza was so clear. Almost most of all the Gaza, the UNRWA in Gaza schools, clinics, centers, warehouses has been totally destroyed. Even more than 208 of its workers has been killed in this war. The West Bank, the same. They closed the main center, the center of the UNRWA in Jerusalem, and they were even lately, just like this is very recent. They closed three schools in Jerusalem that run by UNRWA.
Mhm.
And it's continuing in the West Bank. They didn't allow even the staff, the international staff of the UNRWA, to come back to Palestine, and they're pushing them out. So clearly, one of the main things that they want to is to finish, to use this situation, this war, to get rid of the UNRWA, including, which is come with it, the right of return. So in West Bank, continuation of the attacking the camps, you know that in West Bank, it has been three camps that already now destroyed totally. No, and all its population has been expelled out, displaced. They are now scattered in the city and in the village, in the villages around the city. 50,000 people now, they are without places to stay in. And now it's over now, 100, more than 100 days, like over 3 months now, this is happening. The second reason why I'm saying that it is a key is the displacement of the Palestinians in general. They think in this situation, if they succeed to displace and to destroy Gaza totally and finish the Palestinians in Gaza, this is will make it easy to do this in the West Bank. This is from one point. And the other point that nobody talk about, or there's no talk about, is Gaza all the time was support in the resistance of the West Bank. When there is attack in the West Bank, there is Gaza is like threatening there. So now the Palestinians has been left alone with a puppet regime in the West Bank that collaborating with Israel and also attacking the Palestinian people. Um, So after that, now what's happening in the West Bank? Let's talk about this in details. In October, since October 7th, West Bank has been totally sealed off. State of emergency has been declared on all over the West Bank. Checkpoints has been activated, the already existed checkpoints between cities and between villages, towns. Number of checkpoints had been increasing all this time. It reaches now more than 1,000 checkpoints, roadblocks, and gates that has been closed. Almost if you come to Palestine, every village you pass, there is a metal gate on the entrance of the village. In any minute, they close it. All the roads that who came to Palestine that we used to go smoothly, it has been totally closed. People has to find ways. That's other than the humiliation, the dehumanizing that the people facing daily on the checkpoints. Just like yesterday, I would present something happened with me. I have an appointment with a Sawahli municipality. This is near Ma'ali Adumim in the east of Jerusalem, because they declare that they are confiscating 2,600 dunum to expand the settlement. So I talked to the mayor there. I told them we want to go to visit the area. We agreed to meet at 10:30. I know that the checkpoint is really bad in Kalandia and Jabba after that. So I start moving from Ramallah at 9 o'clock. I reached him at 1 o'clock afternoon. Means if I started from Ramallah to go to London, I will be in London before I reach that place. Simply, they close one of the checkpoints, Jabba, and we have to wait there for this long time. I have to find a way to go around Ramallah to find another checkpoint, which is a Bet El checkpoint. There was a traffic on the checkpoint. There was big hundreds of cars standing. So there's no other option. So I have to stand with them. So it takes me 5 hours to arrive there. And this is the daily life. This is the daily life of the Palestinian people. This level of humiliation, this level of like any dehumanizing the people, aiming at make the people surrendering, to say, "Khalas, do whatever you want." So if you look at what's happening with the farmers and farming is one of the main things that the Palestinians depending on. Farmers is not anymore able to move their products from place to another because of this checkpoint. And if they move it, it will stay hours in the checkpoint, and that it reach to the markets almost wasted. The second thing is like any also the water. Everything is controlled by the Israel. Settlers also is everywhere in the streets. People have to find this very far ways to avoid them and avoid the military on the roads. So totally like any the agriculture And that's reflected on the markets, like it became so expensive, the 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 vegetables mainly and the fruits as well. The animal husbandry, the animal production that came to the West Bank, it came from the areas in Area C, particularly Jordan Valley and Masafir Yatta and South Hebron Hills. And within this war, from the early beginning, they declare Area C as a military zone, close it, and immediately they start like any the terrorist settlers militias started are launching attacks on the Palestinian communities, backed with the soldiers, and they start displacing them forcibly. Exactly at the same time, like and they go there with their guns, burning their tents, and they tell them leave. The first year, they were able to expel 30 communities from the Jordan Valley and the different areas around in the slopes of the Jordan Valley, but the shocking is the amount of the land that they steal in this expulsion. 240 kilometers, square kilometers has been stealed by the expulsion of the Bedouins. 240 kilometers means a little less than Gaza Strip size. That's by ethnically cleanse the Bedouin from there. And it's continue. It's reached up now to 60 communities. And the land that has been already taken this way, stolen without any orders, without anything, it reached up to 890 square kilometers, which is 15% of the West Bank. That has been taken. This is the plan. They don't need to go to the courts. They don't need to have decisions from the military to confiscate for military or security reasons, whatever. Like just like the settlers around with the soldiers, very organized militias goes around attacking within communities, seals the land. They started there an outpost there, and khalas, nobody can be able to reach that area. What's happened in the north, which I talk a little bit about, which is that this is another story. Jenin and Tul Karim, Nablus to Bas, the northern districts of the West Bank has been under attack from the beginning, particularly targeting the refugee camps. Jenin and Tul Karim is the worst, in fact, the worst attacks there, as you know, and it's until now. And the Israeli military declared that they are going to stay until the end of the year. I will talk about what does it mean we'll talk about it later on. But this is not all. Like any, it is killing the people continue. Like any, in the last since the war until now, we have almost 975 Palestinian killed, 180 of them children. The arrest campaigns that they are doing, like any, it's reached up to 17,000 people have been arrested during the war. At least 12,000 of them remaining in the prison. The other thing that's going along with this is because there is a plan. All what they are doing is a plan, and the plan is clear. The main column, let's say, and the base of the holy plan is the colonies, the settlements. So we witness a huge expansion of the settlements. The already existed settlements, outposts that they are creating all the time, infrastructure that they are constructing, and the plans that they declare that they want to start with. For example, lately, they declare that they are going to close the main road from Jerusalem to Jericho, from عند معالي أدوميم, after العزرية to Jericho. They want to close it totally. This is a historical road. This is the road of Jesus from Jericho to Jerusalem. Never ever being like since thousands of years this has been closed. So they want to close it, and they want to close another road that going to that way from Anata. I don't know if you know the area, but this is an area that leads to what's so-called E1 area. So by closing this, the Palestinians have been stuck in the areas, in the villages, and all this huge amount of land from Mount of Olives, Anata, Abu Dis, Al Azariya, until the Jordan Valley, the Jericho Dead Sea. Nobody will be able to go there. So what do they want to do to the Palestinians in order to connect from Hebron, Bethlehem to Ramallah and other areas? They want to open a tunnel from Al Azariya to Al Zaim checkpoint, and from there you go in this apartheid road to Ramallah. And you know, it's Al itself is a very crowded place. Can you imagine when you direct the whole south of the West Bank, which is more than half of the West Bank, when you direct it to the same road, how that situation will looks like? That's other than the other main roads. For example, Kalandia, at the checkpoint, they already started. They are almost finished the tunnel. They are opening tunnel under Kalandia checkpoint, huge tunnel. They were since a year working on it, and they want to continue it toward the east to connect all the colonies and settlements that they built on the edge of the mountains of the West Bank that's overview Jordan Valley. So they are totally closing the Palestinians from Jordan Valley. Jordan Valley, we're talking about more than 30% of the West Bank, and all the Palestinian resources is there. Water, animal husbandry, agriculture, lands for expansion in the future. So they are closing this not by walls, but by settlement colonies, settlements, highways. That the highway, it's a wall by itself. Nobody can cross. So none of these villages will able to go to their land and to pass that area anyway. So in a way they are just like make the life of the Palestinians in the West Bank is catastrophic by itself by blocking and doing this very sophisticated criminal system around the Palestinian communities. The bypass road, other bypass roads, there is one from Za'atara that goes around Nablus villages, connecting all the settlements and connecting it to Israel with the highway. From the south, the same. So they are now redesigning like the whole system. They are in a hurry to make the system function. The system that they are talking about is suffocating the Palestinians, this ghetto system that we are talking about. The apartheid system that we were calling and shouting and crying since more than 20 years now, since they start building the wall. Now they are intensifying to do it. You know, this is in Jordan Valley, but in the West Bank, in between the cities and the villages, it's became even also worse because one of the main economy for the Palestinians, historical one, is the olive trees. That's everywhere in the mountains that consider it Area C. So since 2 years now, the farmers can't go to their fields anymore. People trying to go, there's 11 farmers has been killed by the settlers trying to go to their lands in the last 2 seasons. And they close all the dirt roads and the agricultural roads that leading to that areas. So when you look at the map, how it will looks like, so what has been literally left for the Palestinians is the built up areas in the villages and the cities. That's all. Militias, settlers, militias everywhere, military everywhere. And now they're constructing another wall around Sinjil and the villages around Ramallah. And they want to change the main road from Ramallah to Nablus. They want to close it also and to find another road for the Palestinians through Salfit and so very complicated area. So when we talk about the economy, look, the situation of the economy in the middle of the situation. One of the main pillar of the economy is the workers. There were 205,000 workers that used to work in Israel. Since now, 18 months, 20 months, they are sitting in their homes without any source of living. It's not just that workers in Israel, but workers also in the Palestinian companies and the employees within the Palestinian firms and even 67,000 workers and employees have been lost their jobs as well because so many businesses has been closed, so many companies has been bankrupt. The theft of the clearance revenues that comes through that Israel collect from the Palestinian import and export. They have been totally deducted. They are pushing the Palestinian Authority to the edge of the bankruptcy. Well, that's reflected on whom mainly? On the wages of 170,000 employees that benefited from the work of the work in the organizations and the ministries and all the institutions that belong to the authority. As I said, the agriculture sector has been also on the edge of collapsing. Several factories has been so. So what does this mean? Like when the economy is falling, the political situation is totally very dangerous. Closing everywhere. Attacks on the north of the West Bank and arresting and killing the people. So Israel is pushing to the next step. So what's the next step that they are planning for? It's clearly annexation of the West Bank. And this is, by the way, this is just a tools. Annexation of the West Bank, getting rid of the refugees, the refugee problem, changing the Palestinian system. Even the Palestinian Authority that is working as a puppet for them and coordinating with them, and they didn't say any word about all what's happening in the West Bank and Gaza. And they are even like any adopting the position of the American administration and the Israelis concerning Gaza, but also they wanted to eliminate the authority. Why? Not because it is good, but because from the name of the Palestinian Authority, they don't want anything to present Palestinians. They don't. So they don't want Palestinians to be a people, one people. They don't want anything that come from international organization like United States that recognize a Palestinian state. So they see that the Palestinian Authority could be a symbol. Until now, still the world will talk about two-state solution because it's existed. So what's the plan? How they want to dismantle the Palestinian Authority? In fact, in Tulkarim and Jenin, they declare that they are going to stay until the end of 2025. What is going on is that the military everywhere in the cities is trying to normalize their existence with the people. So they are patrolling there, trying to calm the situation and to people to start like being like accepting or normalizing that the Israeli patrols and the Israeli jeeps is everywhere in the city. But they continue the blockade on the refugee camps. Nobody can reach there and keep attacking once in a while the refuge places, centers, and the rest, the young guys from this centers. And other than that, we witness like any people from the city say that Israeli police even, they were like stopping the Palestinian cars and giving them fines for like, I don't know what. In a way that they are bringing the system while the Palestinian Authority is standing there. They can't do anything like at all. So, and the other refugee camps in the West Bank, by the way, it's not far away from this. All the Palestinian refugee camps in the West Bank, all of them has been raided, putting curfew in the camp, and they put signs and mark signs on different roads, and they give the people a message: you are next. But they didn't until now send the bulldozers. They didn't start anything with the refugee camps, but we don't know when this is and which conditions they want to start with the other refugee camps. So here, like, and they are saying, if it's continue like this, and Israel started step by step taking the position of the administration of the Area A that's supposed to be Palestinian Authority, it means there is two options in front of the Palestinian Authority maybe. Either they will accept to keep their centers and to work under the orders of the Israeli army, or they will dissolve them and will create a new administrations that they created from how they understand, bringing families, bringing, I don't know, who is he, collaborators, and set them like the experience that the experiment of like villages leaks after Beirut, the war in Lebanon and the camps in Beirut when they think that they get rid of the PLO and they start the villages leaks in the West Bank, which is collaborators that they set them and they give them responsibility on the Palestinian people. But didn't work because the Palestinians had been attacking them and it finished. So I didn't see in a way that the situation just until now that this plans is interrupted. Especially that also there is another steps that the Israeli government, especially Smotrich, and in his financial ministry or Ministry of Finance, they started, which is liquidating the civil administration. Civil administration is this body, military body that established in 1967 to rule and to govern the West Bank. So, and it's all governed by military orders. So they, like a month ago, like any or years ago, 1.5 years ago, he appointed, Smotrich appointed a vice president of the civil administration, which who he is the mayor of the Benjamin block of settlements in the West Bank. One of his colleagues is very fascist, and and he's civilians. He's not in the army, and most of the responsibilities he transferred to his hands, and particularly the confiscation of the land, organizing the settlers. The settlers has been trained, weaponized, and they were like given all the possibilities, either from weapons that Ben Gvir has been given to them, training, and four-wheel drives vehicles, drones, and he gave them the responsibility or the possibility to arrest the Palestinian farmers and to confiscate their properties, like tractors, like trucks who's going to the area, to the Bedouin communities. One of the problems that we face when we want to go to the Bedouin communities that all under siege, by the way, it became a dangerous. You have to smuggle there. Like any car goes there, they will confiscate it immediately. There's cameras everywhere. Any car goes to any of these Bedouin communities, they were immediately they were jumped there, the military, and joined by the settlers. Why you are coming here? Like they check the car if you bring any assistance, humanitarians for them, and they take it away. So what's the way out? Yani, that I think like it is. Yani, I think the main like let's hope that can bring it to us. And first of all, I think that the Palestine is going to explode in the West Bank. It's not going to continue like this. The main thing that's make it until now like oppressed is the Palestinian Authority itself, by the way. Otherwise, everything will be exploding. So the possible one with the possibility is that will be another explosion in the face of the authority. This is very possible in the light of what's going on, especially if after he's appointed Hussein al-Sheikh, which is one of the Israeli men in the to be his vice president. So the only hope in these two things is that this Israeli government will fall down by pressure either from the Americans, from the international community, or from inside Israel. So this will be obstacled, this steps, because like I don't think that it will be finished by changing the government, because the settlers in the West Bank are very well organized and very well influential within the Israeli government and society. The Israeli society changed into fascism. 80% of the Israeli society is supporting the right wing. How comes this? They are still in the government until now. So the main thing is like the pressure from outside. One of the main pressures that had happened and still must continue is the people pressure. People pressure like any and the isolation of Israel. Israel today is a pariah state. And we have to keep working for that as a people. So Israel has been to be isolated, boycotted. Boycott BDS is the main thing, that the strategy that we are calling the international community, the peoples, our supporters, our friends around the world, like any social movements, human rights movements, trade unions, everybody. This is the way to pressure the regimes in their countries and also to isolate Israel, to make them understand that this is not acceptable. It's absurd, 20 months of televised genocide doesn't move people. I'm not talking about people who's like already like anymore, but I'm talking about this regimes, these politicians, this party, these political parties, those who's influential, like any in spite, like any became the victim, became the one who's criminalized, like any they were attacking the people who standing in the streets, like like what's happening in Germany. And also in the States, like, and if there is a Palestinian flag and then calling to end the genocide, they became criminalized. This is unbelievable, unbelievable. That's put a big question on the whole human rights issue. And just to prove to us that this whole charters of human rights, all this international organization is not free. it's under the clues of this colonial powers. This is they can immune themselves from anything related to this human rights, like Israel has been immune, like United States has been immune from the crimes that they were committing around the world, etc. So I think we the people responsible, and it's our responsibility to defend the human rights, to defend our rights as a people. We can't accept that the world will be back to the jungle rules. It is now. The one who is paying the price is not the cartel companies, is not those presidents. It is those millions who would be killed if there's another like any nuclear bombs, wars has been started, or like any other wars started. We already people in millions is dying around because of the wars. So it must be an end. Like it must be an end of that. So we had a responsibility as a Palestinians trying to change our own system or our regime. This is like it should be through the logical ways, like any elections, whatever, like any. But unfortunately, this roads has been closed in front of us. But it is, I see I don't know, I can't tell time, but I see the whole authority is like is not really is not don't have any roots anymore. Like it's hated by its people. Everybody saying about them as a collaborator. So I don't know which system can survive while all its people is just like against it, and deal with it as an enemy. But on the other side, as a Palestinian civil society, we are organized like around BDS, and we are in a way, and it just like trying all of us from every one of his sides. What we are trying to do in BDS movement is to activate all the Palestinian organizations, parties, and parliamentarians, whatever, to start moving to moving towards like uh, mobilizing internationally for stopping the war. This is the main things that we need now. Stop the war, stop the genocidal war. So I think I can stop here. If there is any questions that could be like any also strengthening the subject. And maybe I just like any things I didn't talk about, but I try to go over like all the things that we are facing, and what's the what's the politics on the ground like. They didn't talk about Trump and what he's doing now, and how this is reflected, the possibility of stopping the war. There is a kind of a hope that's coming, that could be stopped, because we feel that the whole world fed up with Israel and fed up with Netanyahu and fed up with these crimes, can't handle it anymore. So uh, somebody must stop and say enough. Yeah.
Thank you, Jamal. It's a very depressing situation, but I'm glad that you helped us understand the situation better and connect a lot of the different things that are happening on the ground. Um, if you have questions, please put it in the chat. Linda, I think you have a question too. You want to ask him?
Oh, well, actually, it was a follow on from. I was just about to write in the chat about Trump, and I just wondered whether, just following on from what you were saying about, do you trust him in a sense to, because he's obviously fed up with Netanyahu, and it seems to be a positive thing that he has done something behind Netanyahu's back, but it's whether that will end up still being useful for the Palestinian people, or whether his golden Trump in Gaza and all those kind of things, whether he still has a sinister plan for himself. I know you can't read a ball for the future, but I just wonder what your thoughts were.
No, no, no. You can read. You can read from what is Trump and how he is thinking. Like, yeah, and we don't trust Trump at all. Like, this is a man that you can't trust. Not us as a Palestinian, no, not you as an American people as well. And Trump, like, why he started like avoiding Netanyahu, because Trump clearly start feeling and afraid that the whole American interest in the region is totally threatened, and particularly the Trump plan of collecting money. That's why, like any, he went and started talking with the Iranians, because he knows that no way Netanyahu will allow this to happen and will keep all the time to disrupt this. But for the Americans' interests is with the Gulf, and if there's any war happened or they bombed Iran, Iran will bomb the oil. They will bomb the American bases in the Gulf, and they can make it a mess in the Gulf. They can close the Persian Gulf. So, and this is one thing. The other thing is Trump. What his philosophy and what he's doing. He want to collect money. He don't want to spend money. So he don't want to get another wars to get to start to spend on it. That's why also he have this agreement with the Houthis, and he sold Netanyahu and Israel, because the American ships became targeted by the Houthis in the Red Sea. The American also Marines. So, and the whole trade that goes to America became interrupted, and they have to go all other ways around, which is cost a lot. So this is also like affecting in way or another his plan, disrupting his plans, and the economy that he's now the angel that's going to rescue the American. So that's why he went to the Houthis, and he agreed with them clearly. I am not talking about Israel. I'm talking about the American ships and the American Marines. So he get an agreement with them. That's another story. The other story also in Syria, because Netanyahu was pushing for to go into more wars in Syria. So the Turkish stood up for him and told him, we are not going to allow another chaos in Syria that we are paying a price of 15 years. We are paying a price of it. We have millions of refugees. We are not allow this to be interrupted. And they make it clear to Trump, and Trump backed the Turkish for all this reason, because Netanyahu became a monster, like, because all what he's occupied with is now ending the Palestinian issue, eliminate the Palestinians. And the other thing, the main important thing, is to keep himself in power. He is like, this man is like, he's crazy. He's just like have this, what we called it, the feeling of the greatness. Like he want to be the King David. He want to be the King Solomon. He want to be that rescue of Israel. So it's not, and of course he's not rescue Israel, by the way. He's just destroying Israel, in fact. So and he knows that if he stopped the war the second day, he will be in court, and his whole political future will be finished. So, but this doesn't mean that Trump is stop being a friend of Israel. No, this is like absolutely no. And Trump didn't leave his ideas of like he didn't say anything clearly about the expulsion of Gaza. Like if it's finished, he talked about how Gaza people is so they suffered so much. They are poor people. They are now starving. So we are dealing with this. We will send medicine. We'll send that. But he didn't talk about stop the ethnic cleansing and the genocide that's going on. So no, not at all. Like we can't in any way trust Trump. Like the thing that helps us is that Trump feels fear about like all his plans in the Middle East to be interrupted.
Are there any other questions in the chat for Jamal? I wonder if you wanted to also talk more about the to help us understand the complicity of neighboring countries and what this also means for people who are engaged in BDS, for example, in like Western countries, but what does it also mean for, like Arab countries, for example, that have been complicit over the years in annexation and ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people?
Yeah, there is two things when we talk about the Arab world. In fact, the dark part of it is that all those countries that they were totally complicit with the war on the Palestinians and the genocide. I'm talking mainly about countries like United Arab Emirates, like Morocco. The worst of the United Arab Emirates, that they were opening like all their airports and opening their all this channeling of the food and from the early beginning of the war. Even like they were having visiting solidarity visits with Israel, like in for us, like we consider it's like the second Zionist state in the Middle East, like in Emirates. We know how bad this puppet regime there that plays a destruction rule in the different countries of the Middle East. The Middle East, particularly now, what's happening in Sudan, the crisis in Sudan and the massacres in Sudan. The Emirates is strongly behind it. So Jordan regime, like in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Emirates, those are being complicit. Those are shameful, like shameful on their people, like because the people is not like that. And in support of my argument is that the BDS has been growing so fast in Jordan, for example, so fast. And they have been able to stop many of the either companies complicit with the occupation, like Carrefour, or others, like any other all other trades with Israel that was coming secretly. So they were really doing a very good job in Egypt, in Tunis, in Morocco, in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Kuwait, in Oman, even in Bahrain itself. So there is like the BDS really groups has been growing up there and became much more organized. For us, like, and I am in the secretariat of the BDS of the BDS, like any, what we saw from how BDS has been growing in the last 2 years is something so beautiful. Thousands of new groups has been joined. And I can tell you from like our website, our website visitors, like it exceed 120 million a month. And we're talking about those who got in and they started looking into the pages of the website. At the same time, we have 70 million attacks a month. We have a website that cost us $70,000 to establish it, to immune it from the cyber attacks. And this website became like for us a guidance. It became a guidance for all the international groups from around. Like for this years we have like so many countries in Asia, from Cambodia to Philippines to Vietnam to Japan to many others, Bangladesh, many others who has been joining, and there's now groups that have been joining in there. Latin America and the States, like, and we are proud really in the States, like we know that how much they are suffering. A Jewish Voice for Peace, like and the Black Lives Matters and all those these movements, they have been really standing up strongly, and we saw this and reflected this in the streets. I have been in the conference last year, like this time exactly. I have been in the States for the Rising Majority conference, and I have been meeting all of their representatives there, like, and really something given a hope. And there is a fight that's going on the legal fights that going on in the States, in Europe, and all those countries that they are targeting the BDS activists in the world, and it's still going on. But the development, the achievement is really something promising. That's why we are saying to the world, this is it. It's like, we need to continue with this, because this is the only thing that pressure and change. The most important thing is change the public opinion.
Thank you, Jamal. Mary Ann, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Jamal. That was so thorough and profound. And so, and with your last point, I was thinking how important it is that each of us live simply so that others may simply live, and that we disconnect ourselves so that we can stand up for BDS and we won't be threatened with, lack of housing and other things if we can live in community and be depending on others as we speak out loudly, proudly, and boldly. Anyway, it's just a thought.
Yeah, thank you.
Jamal,
This is,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you know, this is, I consider this is a fight for every one of us. Like it's a fight for us as a people, for our dignity, for our morals, for our beliefs. Like any the churches, like everywhere, standing with South Africans, trade unions, social movements, political, everybody. And why? Because people, they can't in this time, imagining or like accepting this apartheid and racism and racial discrimination. Can you imagine when you are talking about genocide and you're talking about massive ethnic cleansing, eliminating people? We are going to 400 years ago with the whole targeting the indigenous communities around the world and eliminating them. This is what's happening to the Palestinians now.
Thank you, Jamal. Um, it seems like we're ending the near end of our session, so I wanted to ask you if you have any other words to speak to our audience. What actions do you think, other than BDS, that we can take as a community and as individuals that can continue to strengthen the movements that we are doing in our various contexts?
Yani, first of all, we are, as I said in the beginning, like, and this is, I'm talking from heart. Yani, in fact, not just because I'm talking to you, but yani, for me and for all Palestinians who knows what's going on, we are appreciating what the American people is doing in the streets, the movements, the churches, the different human rights movements, the Jewish Voice for Peace and others, Latinos, and so we witness like an awakeness like within the people, and that's really very important for us. What we need to do is continue mobilizing. People must understand what's going on. People should be aware that what's happening in other parts of the world is one just like affect the others. Like everybody of us is affected. There is like there's things that we are as a human being must defend. We know that they are paying price. Without paying price, well, we can do nothing. This is simple. Here, people is paying in their blood the price. But we can't achieve none of the revolutions, none of changes in the world has been achieved and had a victory without a price. The price shouldn't be the price that people will be killed, but like at least like to stand up like and not afraid that my job will be lost. But we need to create a solidarity. It's to within us like it's not maybe smart that you go as alone and you go fight the Columbia University, for example. This should be organized with the students movements, with other movements, that every people must stand up. We don't leave one alone in the fight. So we need to be more organized. We need to be more coordinated. The coordination must be higher between different groups, different movements around. What we are trying here, like one of the things that I'm working on, I am in the executive committee of the new unions. This is a new progressive trade union. So I had a meetings with the American, some American trade unions. So we need to string the ties between the Palestinian like workers trade unions with trade unions around the world. And I'm taking this in personally, like because I know this trade unionists and workers like don't have the communication issue, don't have so many things, but this will be a responsibility of one of us, like who can do that and who have the contacts, like. So you need to be aware about what's going in the states itself, like for me, like supporting the people there, the people who are threatened in the states to be expelled from the states is part of it, is my issue, like. If we stand for these evil plans in the states against the people, we can't stand with the people of Palestine on their struggles. So that's beside the BDS, beside that, for me, the most important is how much we can do or raise awareness and make the people understand in our circles. And I know that Sabir is a big network like that connected, and it's need much more into this particular issue and encouraging the people to join the activities, to join the demonstrations, to start in pressuring their states. Everybody knows his situation in his states and what he can do. There's too many things that you can target, you can start lobby against.